All right, got a little bit of lunch picked this morning. Same routine. Get that garden watered and maintenanced. Get a little bit of a workout in, some martial arts in. And I did move more of this gravel. I've kind of been slowly working on finishing up this main path. We got a lot of other projects going on, so I did get a little bit more of that moved. I had to run out to town real quick. Last couple of days was all grass. Had to cut all the grass and everything. So, but now I'm gonna go have some lunch. Just gonna have a little salad, a little salad from the garden. Watch out, buddy. Watch out, Roar. All right, got all my ingredients for my little lunch salad. Got some chard, different types of peppers, gypsy peppers, purple peppers, some little cherry tomatoes, some carrots, mix of different greens. We got dandelion greens, arugula, cilantro, some basil, some mint, some kale, and these mixed greens. So let's go ahead and turn this into this. There we go. Time to chow. Time to go eat my little lunch salad. Go see what's on Nature TV. Give you a little peek at what it looks like when I'm making a new video for my Collie Center channel. Sometimes I gotta film them on my own. Sometimes Christy helps me film them. Sometimes if Tom or someone is here, they'll help me film them, my staff guys. But get a little behind the scenes of what goes into filming one of these videos. And now I'm getting a little bit of cleanup in the garden. I can't stand having a mess and like tools and all this stuff just laying out there. Got to clean it up. A question I get quite often is what got me started in teaching martial arts? Like what got me started at wanting to do this as a career choice? And it's been a long journey. I've been teaching martial arts now since I think I started in like 2007. It's when I started teaching. I started assisting at Matt Numerick's school in Chicago, and I was also taking on private students at my house at the time. And the reason I got started teaching is actually kind of twofold answer to that question. The first answer to that question was at that time when I was training at Matt's JKD's school. It was called Elite Defense Systems. He opened up the instructorship program. I was still a beginner at the time. I was about 6 months into the beginner level program. There was another teacher there that was like, I gotta announce this to the beginners, but we're really looking for intermediate or higher. We want, more committed students and stuff. But when he let me know that they're opening up this instructorship program, I wanted to jump on the opportunity. Not so much for teaching, but to hold myself accountable to finish the school's program, to finish Matt's program. So I talked to Matt about the instructorship program, and I'm like, it's something that I'm interested in. And he asked me, well, why do you want to do it? And I'm like, well, it holds me accountable to finish your program. Like, I want to see your program all the way through. I want to graduate your program. he said, well, let's go ahead and get you on in. Let's get you to do the instructorship weekend training and, do the camp and all that. So I signed up for that, did that. And then after that, I started assisting. I started assisting and I started teaching the kids classes there because Matt, I was the last person that he got to. And he was like, I don't have any more adult class spots open for assisting, but I do have another option for you, Paul. And I know it's not the most glamorous and wanted position, but I need somebody for the kids classes. And he's like, since I need somebody to teach the kids classes, I was like, okay. So basically we worked out a deal where I took the kids classes. I got to train in all of the other classes that I wanted to. That was like my level or less. And I got to train for free, because I took on the burden of teaching the kids classes, which I enjoyed at the time. It wasn't like a burden, but to everybody else, it was like, no, I don't want to do that. I started thinking a lot. I was going in and out of jobs. I had retail jobs and stuff like that. And, I didn't go to college. College was not something that was really talked about too much in my house growing up. I didn't know anything about grants or, nobody talked to me about that. Nobody opened up conversations with me about that. And I didn't know what questions to ask. The teachers, when I was in high school, I was not, and I know it was a lot of my fault how I portrayed myself, but I was not the kid that the teachers really would go up to talk about options for college, right? My parents didn't talk to me about that. My teachers didn't talk to me about that. So, a higher education than high school was just, to me, it just was not part of my reality. And when I started teaching at Matt's school and I started taking on a few private students on the side, I was like, this is something that I can see myself pursuing. Otherwise I'm going to be, working a wage job, right? Like a minimum wage job my whole life. And where am I going to be able to go? How am I going to be able to accomplish my dreams and go after my dreams and all that? So that was kind of like the second reasoning of why I started teaching. And then I was just like, not only studying the martial arts and studying Matt's program and training really hard on that, but I started, getting DVDs and going to seminars and doing all these other things to specifically study the teachers themselves. And that's what I started doing. So those are really my two reasons why I started teaching. One, it was to hold myself accountable to finish a program. And two, because I really felt like I just didn't really have any other option. When I started teaching full time for Matt, once I crossed that threshold from assistant to certified instructor at his school, I got my black shirt, all that stuff. And then I started getting paid. So I was able to, what I did, and I just put all my focus into teaching, right? All my focus in developing that craft, training and teaching. And the whole time I always looked at the two as they're two parts of a whole, right? Training and teaching. Like, you can't really have one without the other. Okay. You can't keep teaching and help your students grow if you are not continuously training yourself and helping yourself grow. Oh, and the highest form of learning your skill is through teaching, just like Socrates has said. So it's like, you need both sides of the spectrum if you want to really get great at one or both sides of the spectrum, right? So when I became a full instructor, the head instructor at Matt's school, the thing that set the reality of this, of turning this teaching into a real career, is when I had access to the student roster. I had a chart of all the students from both locations, because by that point I was teaching at both locations. Basically what I did is I did the math, right? Because I knew what people were paying at the Chicagoland location. I knew what people were paying, the tuition was at the Rockford location. And I kind of roughly understood what the costs were. And when I did the math, I was like, dang, I could totally do this. Like, I could see myself, and I did the whole normal thing where, like, man, even if I made like half of what, Matt's doing, then, at the time, like, I'd be set. And that's when it really started hitting reality for me that, I could do this. And I felt kind of bad about it too. Like, I kind of had to work through some things because I didn't want to let Matt down and like leave his school to go open up my own thing, right? But at the same time, I knew that if I wanted to achieve this level of finances, so that I can provide not only for myself, but for my family, then I would most likely have to go out on my own. And, things happened and everything that ended up working out to where I was able to go out on my own. And it was a struggle. But, you know, when you stay focused, you keep driving with that effort, you stay persistent, you stay consistent, you work out the kinks and you do figure it out. You figure things out. And I can go more into all that stuff in another video and all that stuff, how I keep my mind right, the routine that I use for that, the process, the strategy and system I use for keeping my mental focus and my drive and everything up and going and keep progressing forward towards my dreams. And I can get more into like the business stuff or whatever. You know, you guys can let me know if you want to hear more about that stuff in the comments. But, you know, that's kind of what set it off. And then once I kind of had that taste of, wow, I can really do this, then it was like, it turned into like, this is really kind of my only option. You know, I don't have a college degree, you know, a bachelor's or a master's or something to fall back on. It would either be, I either get this right, this teaching, martial arts teaching career, I either get this right and I really make something amazing out of it, or I go back to work, you know, as a stock boy or cashier at a retail shop. And that's not to put down anybody that, you know, wants to do those jobs or does those jobs. It's just, you know, I wanted to work at something that would allow me to achieve my dreams. And my dream's very simple. It's my dream is the ability, I think everybody kind of shares this or a variation of it, is to have a freedom of choice of my own time. If I had to work, you know, like if I was working minimum wage jobs, I'd have to work 2 or 3 jobs, you know, because Christy, you know, we homeschool our kids. So Christy's busy teaching our kids. So I would have to be, you know, bringing in the income. And at that wage, you know, I'd have to be working. I wouldn't be able to do the garden. I wouldn't have time for my training. I wouldn't have the time for the things that make me me and make me better versions of me, which means I wouldn't be able to give my family the best versions of me either. And I wouldn't have the time to work on my flaws and things like that, you know, because I'd be working all the time. So I had to kind of weigh that out, and you know, martial arts and the struggles to make it into a real career and into a real viable business, it just kind of won over. You know, being able to have that time freedom and suffer through the first handful of years so that I can have that time where I can be with my family and be with my kids as they're growing up and spend quality time with them and with Christy and out here in the garden, and get my own time training in. I'm not working, you know, for other people, working according to their schedules and you know, they're cutting my checks, and you know, you're just kind of feeling like you're grinding your days away. You know, I'm really glad that I made that decision, but more importantly, I'm really glad that I found this little strategy and formula that just works for me. But more importantly, I'm really, really thankful that, you know, I've got a partner that really supported me through this entire thing, because it was not easy to get, you know, Kali Center, to get that business up to where it is today. And, you know, it's still growing, and we're still looking at ways to make it grow and using different, you know, strategies and tactics and techniques and all that stuff. But that's really how I got started in teaching martial arts and, you know, turning that into a career. It's just simple as that. Keep myself held accountable to finish a program, to keep training and keep improving my skill development. And on the other side of that, really just felt like I had really no other choice to go after my dreams and go achieve my dreams. You know, I'm so thankful that this is what I get to do every single day. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way. And, you know, now Kali Center is to that point of success that I can work on other projects, other business projects with other, you know, venture partners and stuff like that. And Christy and I, we get to work on our projects together and stuff. We got some projects in the work as well that we're really, really excited about, kind of combining our worlds together. So, but thanks so much for listening to this. Hopefully this is interesting to you. And all right, we're going to get back to our evening. Christy should be about done with her run, or she should be back any minute now. And then we're going to get dinner and have some fun, get some family time in. All right, see you guys in a minute. You got to bring the wagon. Pit.